Hey guys, welcome back to Dream Catch Hustle with Nadirah and Fila.
I'm Nadirah.
And I'm Fila.
So for today's episode, we will be discussing marriage and money.
That's a good one.
Ooh. And as promised, we have some stellar guests.
Who we have in the building?
We have Sunshine Smith-Williams
Hey.
of Sunny Legal Realty.
Yes.
And we have Miss Gerdie Rene-Gordan of the Beauty Boutique, Inc.
Hello. So we'll start off with you, Sunny. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Sunshine Smith-Williams, as you know. You can call me Sunny. I am a serial entrepreneur, wealth educator, philanthropist.
Okay.
That's my sweetheart. That's my baby right there. And I am a 5-time author.
Okay.
Let's go.
Thank you. I appreciate you, please.
And how about you, Gerdie? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Gerdie. I also am an entrepreneur. I'm a minister, and I'm a mom and a wife, and really happy about all of those.
Okay, preacher.
Yes.
Oh gosh, amen.
So this is one of those topics that I love to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Because relationships, marriage, money, people don't like to tell the truth about some of the challenges and the things that go on.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for us to jump into this.
But not just that. So when we look on social media, we see a lot of the bling. We see jet setting with boo.
Yes.
We see the money coming in, the shoes, the bags, and everything.
Yes.
But what we don't see
Yes.
is how individuals, mothers, women, manage being a mom, being a wife, manage the business,
Yep.
and even spending time with friends, because that's important as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we're going to discuss today, and hopefully give some insight and maybe some ideas to others.
Absolutely, because marriage in itself is a business, right?
Yes,
and
it is.
family is a business, and so it needs to be managed in a certain way. And so we're so excited to have you ladies on to share this topic and conversation with us.
I appreciate
Right.
you having me.
So why don't we
Yes.
start with you, Gerdie? Tell us a little bit about your relationship, your marriage, how long you've been married, and just give us an overall synopsis of what it's like to be married to Miss Gerdie Rene-Gordan.
Well, he's the luckiest man alive. It's a lot of work. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It's a lot of work, but I think the important thing is that we're friends first.
Right.
And even on the days where he gets on my last nerve, I do the same to him as well. I get on his last nerve sometimes, and I can tell when I do. And we both understand what pushes each other and what doesn't.
Right.
And we've also made the commitment to each other that we don't get into it like that when it's like in the heat of the moment. We don't always get that right. Sometimes it is the heat of the moment, and we're like, okay, well, whatever.
But
You know?
that's still healthy.
Yeah. I think what makes it healthy is that we are able to look past that, and when our tempers have calmed down or what have you, we can actually talk. But without that, if I didn't like him as a person, if we weren't actually friends,
Right.
I don't think it would work. You know, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like work when you love the person, in my opinion.
Right.
And because he's my friend and because I respect him, we work through it, because there's some things that I'd never expected to have to experience in getting married, and thinking that, you know what, this is it. I waited, I kissed a lot of frogs, you know, went through a lot of different things, and I thought naively going into it, I'm a woman of a certain age, I was well over 30, that it would be okay, and that wasn't the case. My first year, I was like, what is this and who is he? You know? And so I was like, what did I get myself into at first? And it just took a lot of growing on my part, a lot of growing on his part, and 10 years later, we just celebrated 10 years, 10, 10, 10.
Yes. Oh, nice. Congrats.
And we've been through a lot, but we also are the best of friends, you know?
Absolutely.
That first year is always tricky. I'm glad that you pointed that out. In conversation, I hear that a lot. That first year is a tricky one.
Yeah.
And I never understood that, because I'm like, we were dating for 2 or 3 years prior to, and we were good. You know, he had his place, I had my place, but we were always together. I couldn't understand why now that we're living together, why I was like, I need to go somewhere. I need to leave right now and then come back. You know, I wanted to go back to dating, so we had to work through that.
Of course, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Have you guys, Sunny, in your relationship and in your marriage, have you had any of those similar challenges, or what is it like to be married to Miss Sunny?
You know what's so crazy? I'm very hard to deal with, and I just want to say thank you for. He's hard to deal with too, but I am. Listen, honey, I am I am not innocent. You know, so with me just alone was, growing process. But what I realized is you have to communicate, you have to have openness, understanding, you know what I'm saying? Peacemaking. I created an acronym to get through things like this.
Tell us about it.
It's called COUPLE.
Okay.
So
And
it's
what does it stand for?
communicate, it's openness, understanding, peacemaking. Because we can be naggish.
Yes, we can.
Okay?
What that L stand for?
Loyalty and love.
Got it.
And E is for esteem. And this is very important for our men. Every day they go out of the house as black men and try to make sure that they are going to be alive when they come back home.
Right.
Okay, so they're already targets. So it's important that you tell your king, I love you, you did good today, and champion him on. Because when the world is beating him up, we're the only ones at home that keep that peace.
Right.
Absolutely.
You understand? So
Absolutely.
that acronym helps me. Because when I get out of line with peacemaking, I have to come.
You gotta come back with
Calm down and say, I am causing this man so much drama, so I need to, what do I say? Unlearn and relearn.
Yes.
So on the heels of that, for the both of you, how does that work as far as business is concerned? So your spouses, they both also have their own successful businesses as well. So how do you find time to not only run your business, manage your business, be successful, and also help him be successful in his business as well?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so with my husband, he has like about maybe 3 other ventures. I pretty much, because I failed at asking him, what do you need me to do? I got caught up with, I don't want to be no damn secretary for this business. And I got caught up with titles, and he's like, the only title you need to worry about is you being my wife.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? We're building and working for our last name, not our first. So you worried about Sonny, but you need to be worried about Williams.
Right.
And he had to check me on some stuff, and I said, you know what, you're right. So with every wrong direction became a failed business. We don't like to lose money in the Williams household. So that was a direct reflection of you making poor financial decisions. You're thinking of yourself. You're being, you're just thinking about yourself. So from that on, learning from that experience, I realized you have to be a team player. And it doesn't matter if you have to be the doorman, if you have to be the cook, if you have to be the teacher. You have to play your role and implement yourself in his day-to-day activities.
Absolutely.
So if I have to be a secretary, I got to be a secretary. If I got to be his cheerleader, I got to be his cheerleader.
Right.
And that's what it is with me. I realized
And that breeds success.
that breeds success.
And you know what's really important about what you're saying with these titles, right? Because we do get hung up on them, especially when we are ambitious women, when we're successful women.
Alpha females as well.
Right.
We're hustling toward the title.
Yes.
But inside of the relationship space, it's important for us to sometimes recognize that a lot of our desire to do comes from our traumas, comes from a lack mentality, comes from scarcity. And so then when we're in an environment with someone who's saying, I got you and I support you, we don't know how to lean into that support. So what you said is so important, right?
Yes.
Right, because the battle is against poverty, not each other.
Exactly.
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 And Gerdie, how about you?
There was definitely a learning curve with the two of us because when we got together, we both already had our own. And so I never vocalized it, but I was territorial about what I had worked hard to build. And so when we came together, relinquishing some of that and taking on that this is us and this is our. And similarly for him, the same thing in being sure that, okay, this is ours now, this is what we're going to do. I was laughing at what you said with regard to secretarial because my husband, he sees the bigger picture. He always just like goes and gets it and does it. But then I'm like, but babe, what's the follow through? Where do we do, all the other steps? So I gladly took that role because I was like, you know what? I'll do admin. I'll take care of this stuff. Just give it over to me. And
Let me take care of it.
Don't worry about it.
And so with both of us, we were successful with regard to bringing in clientele. He has a production company, so he does a lot of behind the scenes in producing with music and just in the gospel arena. And so a lot of things on the outward aesthetic was really doing well, but behind the scenes, I was like, what is happening? And he was good at, and he still is good at saying yes, and we're gonna make it happen. I'm like, yeah, but there's different steps to make it happen.
And
And
before
so
that,
and so once we came together and understood what our strengths were and what worked, we are well-oiled machine now.
That's
Not
right.
without little hiccups,
Right.
but for the most part, he understands, we get it. And so the areas where I lack in my business, our business, and the areas where he lacks, we both take up for each other. So it works well now.
But you have mentioned something behind the scenes as far as you guys have a language now. So in my opinion, I think real love kind of dictates its own love language. And that's what we use to make our businesses successful.
Right.
You know, it's like we almost crying out, okay, listen, this is what I need to do, whether it's coming from him or it's coming from us. And we tend to have that love language in business as well.
Yeah, we do.
So what would you guys say your business relationship love language is if you had to choose kind of one thing?
Teamwork make the dream work.
Okay. Okay. So when you two are working together, it kind of simmers everything down, brings you all back in focus.
He is the mastermind and I'm the executioner. He gives me the blueprint and give me the baton, I'm getting it done.
Oh, I love that.
So it works like that. That's his strength. He strategizes, he locks in. This is what needs to be done. So remember when I said I didn't want to be like the secretary?
Yes.
Well, sometimes that secretarial role is actually what you're good at, and that's the role I take on. I execute. So in better way of saying, no, I'm not the secretary. I'm the executioner, and I get shit done.
Right.
So,
But the love language in that is the teamwork.
teamwork make the dream work, and it's the teamwork in the bed, and it's the teamwork in the office, it's in the teamwork in the car, and it's the teamwork whatever you do. Teamwork.
I love that. So if Sonny's love language is teamwork, right? What would you say yours is, Gerdie, with you and your husband?
Words of affirmation, we have to communicate, especially because he's more visual and I'm more tactical. And so they don't, sometimes we're like this, even though we're trying to get to the same thing. So definitely words of affirmation, we have to communicate.
I love that.
And he always says to me, I can't read your mind. And for me, I'm like, I thought that was obvious, you know? But he's right, he can't read my mind, even if it's the same thing, we do it. And so I'm intentional and he's intentional about speaking and saying it, even if we think it's clear.
Something that you said earlier on, though, also about the territorial part, right? So that has to be one of the major things that you guys had to get over. But I just kind of wanted to ask you guys, and I want you to chime in too, Dira, right? So I think there is one or two things, mostly there's one major thing that you had to get over in your marriage, right? For my husband and I, we both started from zero together and got into entrepreneurship during our marriage. And we were both working really hard. And then he began to become a lot more successful than me. And I started to feel really jealous, right? Because I'm competitive. That's my nature. And so it comes out. And so I didn't initially realize it was jealousy, but I noticed that there was a wall. And I was working out of that place of jealousy. And then when I realized that, I was able to shift it, right? And now he runs a 7-figure business, and I will be the secretary, the camera lady, cleanup lady,
you got it
food services, whenever. But I know that that was the one thing I needed to overcome so that we could both be successful in our businesses and still be successful in bed. So what would you say that one thing was for you, Sonny?
I really think it was selfishness. Like I said, I was selfish, and I would see him create this great, because he's a visionary. He was creating this great business, and I know he needed my help, and I'm like, I'm not helping. And I've done that before. I'm like, I'm really not helping. I'm really stuck on this project. And that's what would happen to me. It wasn't business causing friction, it was projects. So I would be working on this project, and if you know me personally, of course you guys do, I'll be on this project this week. This month I'm on this project, but I'm executing them because at the end of the day, the goal is to get it to where it needs to go. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wait a minute, I got one more project. Until one day he taught me, he said, listen, you're starting your cosmetic line, and I'm the one drawing your logo. I'm finding my place in your business. When it's time for you to do these financial literacies, I'm carrying your backdrop. And that's when I had to, humble yourself. And it's not about you. And let, again, that teamwork come in.
I love that. I love that. Selfishness is a big one, I
was
think.
selfish, very.
What about you, Gerdie?
For me, it was definitely humility. Because when we got together, if we looked at just finances, I made more money than him. But even though I made more money than him, he was richer than me because he owns property. His credit score was great.
Right.
And mine was to shambles, with student loans, and, you know what I mean? And so looking at it that way, he gave me a new understanding on what wealth and value is. And even to this day, he's very meticulous, very frugal, like, okay, we can do this. And let's not get twisted, he's the big spender in the relationship. I'm frugal Franny. However, he always knows, okay, he's on top of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even though, like I said, when we started out, I quote unquote made more money, he still was richer, if that makes sense.
It does.
And so it was very humbling because he's the one that was able to get our cars. He's the one that was able to do the stuff with the house. He was the one, even still to this day. And I've learned a lot with him in that regard on having more discipline and being able to delegate and see the bigger picture once again and steps leading up to it. And so that was what caused me to have a deep respect for him.
That humility. So you were making money, but he was creating wealth.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
And he came into it already having stuff. You know what I mean? So.
And what about you, Nadirah?
Well, initially I thought mine was finding our places in each other's businesses, but after listening to Sunny, she just described my whole work week. So I'm putting together a bid for the city, and my husband's putting together a bid as well. So because I've already been through it, I'm making suggestions, but it's one of those, I'm not going to help you, so you got to do it. You got to do it like this because I'm not going to help you. I'm busy over here. I'm busy over here. I'm busy over here. So it was great listening to what you were saying. So I did take some notes, and that's the purpose of this whole interview as well. But
we're learning as we're listening.
Exactly. But it's also finding the place in each other's businesses. So we don't like to take suggestions. We like to give it to each other, but we don't like to take it. Constructive criticism from each other. We may take it from other people, but not so much from each other. And that was a big thing to get over because we're each other's biggest cheerleaders. So when your cheerleader's like, hey, listen, I really can't cheer for that because I might not like that. You start to feel a certain type of way. But again, my husband's my biggest cheerleader, and I'm his biggest fan. The kids tease us. I stand back. I just look at him like this is my guy. You get what I'm saying? However, I didn't feel like I had the place in his business because he wasn't taking my suggestions, and I wasn't taking his either. So you know how that goes when you're on the outside looking in. Everyone can see everything when you're just standing here looking this way. But looking in, he sees, okay, well, Dara, you have to do this. You should do this. You should do this. I'm like, no, but I've been doing it this way for a while and it's working. But I do a lot of self-evaluating. So when I self-reflect, maybe he was right and it wasn't working. So my biggest thing is going back in and saying, you're right. You're right. But now Sunshine done made me realize I have another problem.
But that's the beauty of this space, right? And this is why we're here and why we create it, so we can learn.
He fails, you fail.
Exactly. Yeah. Look at this, right? Where else are you going to see 4 beautiful, successful Black women who from Queens, L, right? Who have supportive, successful husbands who are at a point in maturity where we can talk about the mistakes that we made and share it with others, because that's another thing. People say that Black women don't support each other, and this is evidence that that's not true. That's not true. Yeah. So Gerdie, why don't you tell us where we can find you, how we can get your services, how we can come into your world, give us your socials, your websites, and all of that.
Awesome. I spend the majority of my time at 22301 Linden Boulevard. I was intentional about staying in Queens. I did work in the city, but I love being from Queens, and so that was intentional on my part. And it's the Beauty Boutique, Inc. And why I stressed on the Inc. because it was important for me to come from, operating without a license, working out of my home, renting booths in all types of salons for years, and then actually incorporating and building an S corporation. That's something that I take pride in.
Yes.
www.theboutiqueny. The salon's Instagram is @theboutiqueny, Twitter theboutiqueny, and I'm available. I don't do weekends anymore, thank God.
The luxury of it all.
I did weekends for about 15 years, and so I don't miss it. I'm not looking back, and that was one of the compromises with my husband. When we were getting married, he was like, weekends are for family. And I was like, do you know what industry I'm in? I remember thinking that. But once again, that was, his wisdom, and I love it. I live for our weekends. And think I answered.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sunshine?
Sunny Legal Realty. I'm at 16911 137th Avenue. But please, because of COVID, do not come in. I am not taking walk-ins. You can reach me at www.creditlegalrealty.com. I'll give you the number because a lot of people don't like to do that. It's 888-744-1133, extension 1. And my philanthropy business is available to any felons, veterans, or anyone that fell on hard times. That's Shared Living Residential, slrllc.org.
And where can we find you online? On your socials?
Sunny Money Queens, that's my handle on IG, and Sunshine Smith Williams on everything else.
Okay. And you said you had something for us,
Yes,
yes?
I do. I have some
Let's see it. 'Cause gifts is my love language.
Yes, mine
What do we have?
too. Okay, so first of all, let me give you the shirts. Okay,
Look
so-
at me like a kid trying to peek
Okay,
over.
let's do the shirts. So we have the shirt. So this is my
You see, that's my
non-for-profit.
color, right?
It's the non-for-profit. This is every dime goes towards the proceeds. This was the shirt
That's
line I
nice.
made.
Yes.
So I don't know if you want that one.
Read what it
I don't know.
says.
Yeah, this
Read it for us.
particular shirt says, "I'm a gold digger, not a gold digger."
love
We
it.
like to empower young women and let them know
Love
that
it.
they can go after their bag without compromising their self-worth for net worth.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that's shirt number 1. Shirt number 2 has a different saying, and these are all patent, by the way. Trademark your stuff. Okay. Boss up or get bossed around.
All right.
This
I
is
love
about
it.
definitely
That's
entrepreneurship.
You already knew that.
Bossy. But again, it's I Love Sunny 101s. It's just things that I pretty much say, little reminders
love
and
it.
stuff.
Yes.
So that's your
really
shirts
nice.
first.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Let me give you yours.
Let's see what else I got in here for you. So
Oh,
my
we got
cosmetic,
more.
I got lots up in here. Cosmetic line, I got you both palettes.
Oh, I love
Nice.
So this
it.
is for you. If you open it
Thank
up, it's
you.
glittery palettes. It's vegan.
Ambitious Beauty.
Yes.
Yes.
See, and hubby created that. He
Okay,
drew
come
this.
on, hubby.
Oh, that's nice.
So
That
he
is
created
beautiful.
it and everything, even the stencil. So see, teamwork makes the
And
dream
where can
work.
we purchase these?
You can go ambitiousbeautycollection.com, and actually I can
Okay,
now
go
talk
ahead
about
now.
it. We're in Sephora.
Yay! Let's
So I'm very
go.
happy about that. So you guys, I'm just letting y'all go now.
Thank you.
I love it.
And then the other stuff is the books. So I'll let you guys have 3 books here. I'm financial literacy.
Yes.
This was the credit book you see here.
Okay.
And look, teamwork
Wine
makes
and
the dream
Wealth.
work. You see hubby. So me
Yes.
and hubby did the book together. It's important. Got to incorporate him now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then this is just a book about, my trials, triumphs, and,
We're gonna have you back to go
Yeah,
deeper and talk about that
and
more.
your names are both in it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Business.
love.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Here's your
it.
bag. There you go.
Thank you so
Are there
much.
any other special projects that you're working on?
Yes, I'm working on, and I can't really talk about it, but I'm a police reform advocate, prison reform advocate. I'm big on writing bills. I wrote an act called the Sharice Francis Act, where law enforcement will no longer be able to deal with mentally challenged people, and they're no longer allowed to put any chokeholds. They just passed George Floyd's bill, and that was a little different. But right now we're District 28, Adrienne Adams. She's helping me with this bill, and my friend was killed in 2012, mentally ill, never had any issues. And when police was called, it was actually 311. 311 couldn't make it there on time, which is ambulance. 911 got there, not to really go into the story because it gets me tad like, ugh. But I wrote the bill because I needed my friend to be honored correctly. And I needed other mentally ill people not to feel like they're going to be killed or murdered. Smothered her, with a pillow, tried to cover it up. And murder has no statute of limitation. So what I'm doing now, I am a film producer. I am with 2 big gurus. I can't say the names.
Don't give it away
Right,
yet.
I can't, because no, it's muzzle. I can't even talk about it. But we are doing the Sharice Francis story.
Nice.
So they're going to know about her story.
And we would love to have you back when the time comes
It's
to talk about
coming.
that more.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
Gerdie, what special projects are you working on?
I'm actually in the midst of writing 2 books.
Okay.
I suffer from imposter syndrome.
We all
And so
do.
It's been a back and forth, but it's in here, and I actually said this year I have to get them out.
Yeah.
You know, it comes to that point where you're like, you're not even comfortable with yourself. Right. And it's really been, it's been transformative. As I shared with Fila, I'm in a season right now where it's like a lot of what I went through before. I'm starting to see I'm reaping.
Yeah.
You know, some good, because it's been a lot.
The seeds were sown.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And you know, when you're in the midst of sowing it and you're constantly getting setbacks, you're like, what is happening? Am I doing something wrong? Am I not?
Right.
And as I told you the other day, something that Fila had said to me about 2 years ago, she was like, start being who and what you want to receive.
That's right.
And I've been intentional about that, and it's happening now. And so, long answer to, I'm in the process of writing 2 books. One is an actual, it's kind of like a funny take on how to choose your provider in beauty.
Okay.
Nice.
But like the do's and the don'ts, what to look for, the warning signs. So it's kind of funny. I crack myself up when I'm writing it. Like if you walk in the door and she got a conditioning cap on her hand, colors down the side of her face, go the other way. You know? So it's a bunch of different scenarios and real life things I've experienced. Right. And the other one is just I'm struggling with the title now, but it's Beyond the Gift. You know,
I love
one of the
it.
things, and particularly in my industry and with women of color, is that we all have a natural gifting for what we do with our hands. But it's more than that. You know, as we're talking about having a business, and so my purpose, I believe, is just being able to be that bridge and showing young girls in particular, young Black girls, how to bridge their artistry, being dope, with their having some business savviness.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
So it's called Beyond the Gift for now.
Oh, I love it.
That name is wonderful.
It really is,
like
right?
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, so much for being here, for sharing time with us, for sharing yourselves with our audiences, right?
Yes.
And on that note, Dara, take us on out.
Oh, wait, I do have one question.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Off the top of your heads, for both of you, name one woman entrepreneur who you would like to salute. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, someone who you would like to gain some exposure.
Okay, well, go ahead. Marvette Brito. So Marvette Brito is a brand strategist, and she's been in the game for almost 30 years.
Okay.
Marvette Brito, she has her platform already, but when I was jumping into the celebratory financial lane and fixing financial clients that were in that, like actors, like I can't even name drop the names.
Right.
But when I was in that lane, she
But just
gave me
know
an
they famous, y'all.
Yes, and you'd be surprised how many people have financial problems and are not educated with that particular, that lane. But they'll make money, but they don't know how to spend it, invest it.
Right.
Marvette gave me an opportunity, and I mean, she knows everybody from Denzel Washington to Halle Berry. She's given me a lot of clients. That's what I'll say, and I want to say thank you to her. And hats off to her, because without her, I would have never been able to go into that particular. She took a chance on me. Definitely.
Okay, so of course my mind was racing on. I'm going to say Michelle Jenkins. I've known her since I was in the 8th grade, and she works at the salon. And I call her multifaceted because she's a beauty blogger, she's a skin analyst, she's a hairdresser, but she also is really big about business and empowering different women, and she's always doing different things. She's been my biggest supporter with regard to being at the salon and wanting to encourage me to keep going, because sometimes you just are like, is it even worth it, but she's always there. So Michelle Jenkins.
Yay. We love that, right? Being able to support other women, spotlight other women, showcase other women, because the table is long enough for all of us to sit at it and to eat and to eat well.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was really
Our
good.
pleasure.
And therapeutic for me.
We got to do it more often, right? Yes. We got to do it again without the cameras.
Exactly. Yes.
So on that note, are we ready?
And catch us next time on
Dream, Catch, Hustle with
Nadirah
and Fila.
And just remember, we're rooting for you guys. And Dream, Catch, Hustle is not just a catchphrase, it's a lifestyle. You dream it, you catch it, and you hustle it.
Okay. Peace, guys.